Okay, welcome to Protecting Africa show. We got Brother Victor in the show, and I'm gonna be asking a few questions about the African topic I'm covering today. And today I'm speaking about African languages. Now, my first question to Brother Victor is: have you noticed that African languages generally are silently and slowly fading away, dying? Have you noticed something like that?
Yeah, that's a general. I'm sure it's a general feel of people. People noticing that their children in their homestead, the language is dying, their home language is dying. Recently, I was listening to Metro FM, and there was this lady that was basically testifying that his baby daughter is understanding more of the English language than the Tswana language, okay. The home language. So it is something that is creating a huge impact in our society, and a lot of people are basically noticing it, but I feel that they don't have the actual solution
to the problem.
Yeah, to the problem. They're just thinking out of the box, okay, on how to sort it out, but they don't know what impact it is the solution making towards the problem that they have. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Very interesting a point you made. Now, in your observation, what is killing or what is silently killing African languages? Because apart from African children, the small children not knowing the languages, you also have the fact that Africans are speaking the languages with many European sentences and words. That means those languages are not anymore what they are. And then plus, there is also a huge part of Africans that generally don't know the languages, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah. So in your observation, what is killing African languages, if you have any idea?
For me personally, it's pressure. It's pressure from the outside world. I don't know how to explain it, but it's pressure from the powerhouses. Let me put it that way. From the power countries. Let me simplify it. Power countries are basically dominating our African countries. And as we know of the past history of the colonizations and all of those things, so the European language basically has been forced in our blood system, and it's like a drug. It's hard for us to get it out of our system, you know, and it needs for us to basically go to a rehab, but a different form of rehab, you understand, so that we can realize who we really are as Africans and go forward, you know. And there's a lot that I can say about Africans.
Very interesting. These words are very, in our observation, very touching, and we say very accurate. That's what I'm saying, and I'm pleased that you're saying it. Basically as it is. Now, basically, it's European languages killing African languages. Correct, right? Now, we have the primary obligation to protect our languages from death, because these are our languages. You agree with me on that?
Correct.
Will you support that we protect our languages from death?
Yeah, I do support that we protect it, right? I do support that, because I would like to see my generations to come, right after me, my children, my grandchildren, also speaking my home language, you know, not just speaking my home language, but speaking other African languages
as well.
Very interesting. Being empowered in other African languages, because what I've realized is that when you learn and speak a different language from your mother tongue language, is that there's a lot you advance basically mentally, you know. You advance in your basically the way you view things,
yeah,
right. You also advance in that. So
but protecting each African language is very important, and it's an obligation for us to protect those languages from death, right?
Yes, that is correct. It is important, But in as well, I'd like to also share with you that on the same note, I'm a religious person, right? I'm a Christian, so I'd just like to share as well, just an awareness, right? It depends on whoever that would be listening to me while I'm sharing it.
Yeah.
They'll be basically taking whatever that they would like to take from it. But I remember in the Bible, in the book of Daniel, where the king had a dream, you know, and when the dream was interpreted by Daniel said that there'll be basically his kingdom will break up into different types of kingdoms, you know. So that was basically the will of God, you know. That was the will of God. That was the message that was sent to the king as a dream, in a form of a dream, you know, and it was interpreted by Daniel. So we need to be careful as well in fighting our languages, you know, because at the same time, as I said, I'm a religious person. I live in the will of God.
So you mean we have to be careful when we're fighting to protect our languages? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to be careful, you know. I'm not saying that our languages are not important, you know, but we also need to seek the reason. What's the actual reason our languages are dying, you know, so that we can move forward, you know. Because we might be fighting it, but we might be benefiting nothing from it, you know. So we need to be careful. Basically, my point is we need to be careful, right? As I was saying, that we basically in a rehab, right, in our languages. So we need to establish a particular form of rehab, you know, not like the drug rehab, but a particular form, you know. So in order for us to move to that direction, we need to take a look at certain issues in order for us to execute those.